welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice, and today we are going to be potting up tomato starts. These are my little tomato seedlings, and I have a certain method I like to use when I move my tomatoes up from small little cups to something that's bigger for them to grow and get ready to plant out in the garden. I'd love to share it with you. It's been very successful for me, and I hope it's a helpful method for you to use to get your tomatoes strong and healthy and ready to produce tons and tons of fruit this summer and fall. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna have my son help me, and we're gonna demonstrate to you how easy it is to get these tomatoes nice and large. What we're gonna do first is we are going to use cups from actually one of my favorite coffee shops that's local. I save the paper cups. I use them later for planting my tomatoes. They are 12 ounce. What we do is we drill some holes in the bottom for drainage and also so that we can bottom water. Bottom watering is the best way to ensure that your roots get healthy and strong, going down to search for water just like they do in their natural habitats out in the soil, out in the ground. So we try to mimic that the best we can while they're indoors, in cups, in a more artificial environment. This year, we decided to multi-sow tomatoes into small cups. This is a tomatillo, but we also have each of my varieties. I think I had 31 varieties I was growing this year. I've got to double check that. But vintage wine, a couple different here. And I sowed anywhere from 4 to 6 seeds. A couple of them actually sprouted 8 sprouts, so think some of those 2 seeds were like stuck together. But we put them together. Since tomatoes are pretty easy to separate, you just wiggle them loose and then you can put them in their own cups. It saves space for me on my heat mats, and it also saves space for me under my grow lights. I actually don't have traditional grow lights. I use LED shop lights. What you want to do is make sure you have the correct lumens and the correct kelvins so that you can grow using just, inexpensive shop lights. You can start your plants inside. I talk about that in my How to Start Tomatoes video, and I'll go ahead and link to that for you as well. But I wanted to save space. We only have so much room on our shelves. This year we started a lot of peppers. Every year we start a lot of peppers, but this year especially. So I thought if we could keep the tomatoes to 2 trays to put on heat mats, we have 2 heat mats, it would save space for now, and then we can move them up to their cups, which will obviously take a lot more room. We just got new baby chickies, so you will see the heat lamp in the background. Oh, how cute they are. We are going to put probably about halfway full of soil, maybe a third to halfway full. That looks about a third. We'll try that first. So we prepared 6 cups. We did pre-moisten the soil. You don't want it totally dry. You don't want it totally soaked. You want it kind of like a damp sponge. Next, we wiggle loose the actual little tomato plant. Tomatoes can be separated pretty easily. And we're going to plant those roots kind of all the way to the bottom. So we're going to put a hole in the middle, slip it in there, and then push the soil around it. Now you're going to notice that obviously our tomato start is really low in the cup. That could feel alarming to some people, but what we're going to do is as it grows, we are going to actually add soil as it grows up the cup. We'll add another layer of soil, another layer of soil. And the nice thing about tomatoes is they actually have these little nodes on the sides of their stem that will turn into roots if they're under the ground. It's not the little hairy fuzzy things. Those actually aren't. I used to think for a long time that was the future roots, but it's actually little nodes on the stem. And so what we're going to do is this little part that's sticking up eventually is going to be under the soil and be a stronger root system for the whole plant. Whenever we plant, we always kind of spritz the top with water. We want that soil to hold to the stem tightly and help it have some security while it is just getting established. I like to bottom water even at the very initial planting so they start sending their roots down. I like to reuse cups that, could be recycled, but also using them gives them a second life for sure. you don't always know if you take something to a recycling center if it's actually going to be recycled. So each of these cups is getting 2 uses of its life at least. It's easy for me to also sell them and part with them, and I don't like to use plastic if possible. These are plastic cups that I'm giving another life to, and so in that circumstance, it feels better than just a single-use disposable. The lone Starbucks cup. This is a really slow process. We're drilling more cups because our drill battery died. So we're just going slowly. We have about 150 or so tomatoes to size up into pots to cups. Pot up to cups. It's very loud behind me, but we're gonna get this done. We have all ages help around here. So we put them back under the lights. It's really that simple. And then I will follow up, and as they get a little bit taller, I will put some soil potting mix up, and you'll see how I do that too. I want to show you that before I actually publish this video because I want you to see how simple it is to have your soil level grow with your tomato plant. Hi, I'm back, and I'm going to show you the rest of how I actually pot up my tomatoes. Where I left you off, we had just put a little bit, like in this cup, we had just put a little bit of our potting soil. I'm actually going to bring it up a further level. I'm still working with one hand. No, you don't see my sling on, but I still don't actually have a lot of movement with my other hand from my shoulder surgery. So what I'm gonna do is start with some more potting soil in here. I'm going to take off the little cotyledons on the actual tomato. And if you look in the cup, there's quite a bit of room that it's over the top. I'm just gonna fill the level a little bit more so that the tomato gets strengthened and it can send off some side roots. The cool thing about tomatoes is they actually have different nodes on the side of their stem that you can bury them really deep. You cannot do that with every single plant, but these, it actually works. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit more soil in all around it. And it's honestly that simple. If you have some leaves that are lower, then you can just take off the leaves and do the same thing that I did with the cotyledons and just bring the soil level up. I'm gonna take a spray bottle just to barely water it in. These have freshly been bottom watered, but I want it to hold tight to the actual stem. So I'll just do it on top. And it's really, really easy. That's all there is to it. I brought the soil level up. This is going to make for a much stronger plant than if I had planted those really little tomatoes, more shallow, like maybe only halfway down. I started all the way down, and so it's going to have a really nice root system to anchor it in. And when I plant them out into the garden, then I'm actually going to do the same method where I'm gonna pull off some of the lower leaves and I'm gonna plant them even lower in the garden. It's gonna be very similar. This is, I found, the best way to really get my tomatoes strong, healthy, anchored, and it helps them with wind. It helps them get nutrients. It helps in so many ways. And so I really like this method. You'll have to let me know if you've ever tried it or if you're willing to try it. Planting it only halfway down when it's really little and then bringing the soil level up as it grows. Take the cotyledons off. Add the soil in. Kind of nice with this clear cup, you can really see how much we brought the soil level up. Super simple. I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope that you have a really successful year growing tomatoes. I will show you the next steps of tomatoes. I'll show you how I plant them out into the garden. I'll show you when we're harvesting them, how I prune them, how I like to tie them up vertically. I'm going to show you all the different steps, and hopefully I can even show you preserving them this year and the different ways that we use tomatoes, the different ways we preserve tomatoes. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you soon.